Hello everybody, welcome back to EAFC 25 with the Aston Villa career mode, and we're starting on a page which shows we have an offer for Buendia from West Ham, and I think we're just going to go and accept it. £17 million for someone that we're not using at all. I sort of feel like 17 million, yeah, just accept it. No need to negotiate. Get that one done. And he could be the second player that's sort of leaving the club in terms of in the January transfer window when it opens, because obviously Luca Digne is going to join Fiorentina. I have been growing the shortlist as well. So if we go through positions, we've got a couple of young English goalkeepers on there. I do think we need to bring in a homegrown sort of third choice goalkeeper. We'll keep a look at. Branthwaite's on there just in case it all goes tits up for Everton and we might be able to steal him towards the end of the season. They're currently in 10th, so they're actually doing all right. But yeah, someone I'd just really like to sign in the save. We've got a couple of left backs on here as well. We've got rid of people that are moving in January because it's not realistic to sign them from the shortlist. SA remains on there, but I don't think he's quite good enough. He's very quick. Crossing needs to improve. Curve needs to improve. He's not very defensive aware. Shot power, long shots, not very good either. Obviously a youngster, so could come in as a homegrown academy product. If we signed him at 19, by the time he's 21, he would have been at the club 2 years. Not enough to count as homegrown Aston Villa youth academy, but would count obviously as homegrown English. Mykhailo Mudryk, I just think is always generally quite good on FIFA, and someone that I think a team other than Chelsea would be able to get a song out of. So he's on there as well as a potential winger to bring in. Lots of pace, lots of flair. I like it. Oscar Bob and James McAtee, two young right wingers from Man City, we've added to the shortlist just because we're going to need an option at right wing to replace Buendia as a sort of backup to Bailey on that side. We've also got Fatua from Leicester as well. Had a great season for them in the Championship. Has come up to the Premier League and he's doing well for them in real life as well. Good acceleration and sprint speed, agility, balance. A bit of a dribbly boy, which is good. Good crossing as well with 79. So would tick all the boxes, but would probably want to be first choice, I imagine. We've also gone for some younger players as well. Cuenda from Sporting Lisbon has been recommended to me as well. So he's on this list. Very, very quick. Lots of room to grow. Could be a very good player to bring in. Rooney and Cuenda as well is actually 17. So he would be at the club long enough to count as a youth academy product for Aston Villa between the age of 17 and 21, which is good. Rooney Bargy, just FM wonder kid, isn't it? Always good to have a couple of these on the transfer list or on the short list. Someone who I'd be quite interested in potentially bringing in. And then strikers, because we've only got two. We've got Watkins and Duran. And I think the choice we have is either bring in someone very young, like a Hekimoglu, who again, wonder kid on Football Manager if you didn't know, who we just sort of get in, we could loan out and develop by playing in like Carabao Cup games and things like that. Or we bring in someone similar to the likes of Evan Ferguson, who's yet to play for Brighton in this save. And given that we're near the January transfer window, I do think that when we look at potential options, we could bring in Evan Ferguson to play sort of backup for us to Ollie Watkins, but then make John Duran our third choice striker. We've also got Gift Orban, who's a very good striker from Lyon as well, very young at 22. And then a different one looking at Danilo Sican, who I don't think many people will be that aware of, but 6'2", quick, very physical, someone who is the sort of striker I'd like to bring in. I do think we need a bit of height up there as well. Ollie Watkins, not the best in the air. So there is the potential that we could bring in someone left field of that. Now, the spreadsheet, if we load it up, as on screen now, does show you that we are in a position where we've only got one space left in our Champions League quota. We do have 4 spaces left in the Premier League, which is quite handy. But if we consider that Luca Digne is already leaving, I haven't taken him out yet, but he will be leaving, so that does free up a spot because he has got nothing. So that makes us have 2 spaces in the Champions League for non-homegrown. And the likes that, where's he gone? Buendia will be leaving as well. That's another one. So that's going to give us potentially 3 spaces in the Champions League that we need to keep an eye on, so that we could potentially fill. So I think we're going to confirm those leaving first, and then we will go from there and see what we can do in terms of bringing people in. But again, Any notes or names for the shortlist, please do let me know, and I'll see what we can do. Trying to keep it realistic, remember, so please do keep that in mind as well. Obviously, at the moment, we're Aston Villa doing very well in the Premier League. We're 4th, and we're still in the Champions League. So, yeah, Courtney Howes, I've basically put a few people on loan lists and transfer lists and things like that just to see if we get a bit more movement. But we'll be taking on Bournemouth in the Carabao Cup. I think it's the semi-finals. So with the January transfer window looming large and the end of the year coming up quickly, it's Aston Villa versus Bournemouth in the Carabao Cup quarter-finals. This one playing for a place in the semi-finals. This is a competition Aston Villa have been prioritising, thinking to pick up some silverware would be pretty good. Unai Emery does make a couple of changes to his team today, but Leon Bailey there being deemed the player to watch, having a very good start to his season under Unai Emery this year. So most surprising then for Aston Villa is John Duran given the nod and Joe Bellingham coming into central midfield in Unai Emery's patented 4-3-3 system. Morgan Rogers and Leon Bailey keep their places on the wings. Onana in midfield with John McGinn as well. Pau Torres and Konza at the back. Matty Cash comes in at right back and Martinez keeps his place in goal. Bournemouth are lining up in what you would imagine is pretty much full strength. Kepa in goal, Senesi and James Hill at centre-back. They are using Patrick Kluivert in a front three with Sinestra and Enis Unal. Tavernier, Ryan Christie and Lewis Cook all in there as well. Milos Kerkez, probably the man to look for at left-back. And so the game gets underway. John Duran has been given a chance up front in this one to show what he can do, because Aston Villa reportedly in the market for a potential third option in the striking position. So I think they haven't really had too much rotation in this year as John McGinn comes forward, picks out Leon Bailey straight away. He looks to get Matty Cash again, another one rumoured to potentially be leaving Aston Villa in the January transfer window, given that his game time has been limited since the arrival of Elias Yelert. Patrick Kluivert holds off the challenger Matty Cash, but it's a really good recovery tackle from Konza. Matty Cash has not started this game well at all. Giving the ball away a couple of times. Bournemouth with the first shot of the game. It's pretty poor. John Duran, good first touch to get the ball out of his feet. Joe Bellingham goes out towards Morgan Rogers. In towards Duran again, but couldn't get the ball out of his feet quick enough. And Duran has held it up well in this game, but is definitely lacking something. It just feels like he's a little bit out of his development. He needs to develop a little bit more. Maybe a loan move would be good. I'm not sure. I really don't know what to do with John Duran. Oh, Unai, great turn there, and he's fed it off to Tavernier. Offside, though. Aston Villa really struggling to sort of get to the pace of the game in this one, as they started quite well. John McGinn looks up towards Bailey, but I think he was offside. And yeah, Bournemouth's defence is holding firm. Not a fan of this kit in this view, by the way. I think it blends into the turf a little bit too much. Oh, that's a good turn from Enis Unal up front from the Turkish player. Matty Cash, much better from him. That's what we want to see a bit more of. Joe Bellingham can bring it away. Out towards Leon Bailey. Oh, Malcolm Christie read that. Malcolm Christie, that's a striker from Derby in the 90s. Oh, Matty Cash has done really well to put the pressure on. He's got a man at the back post, dinks it across, can bring it down. Rogers on the volley. Great save from Kepa in goal. Joe Bellingham over the top, looks in towards Rogers. Rogers dinks it across. Duran tries to get his head on it, can't quite get there. Joe Bellingham keeps it alive. Bailey with a big volley, big block. Aston Villa just tightening the screw. John McGinn with the corner, tries to swing it in. It's very close to Kepa. Good catch from the Bournemouth goalkeeper. Kluivert swings in across. It's very deep. Bellingham was challenging with Tavernier there. Tavernier does now get control of the ball. In it goes to Enis Unal again. Great shot. It's hit the back of the netting and the Bournemouth fans thought it was in. Oh, Enis Unal again. He's having a great game up front. He's turned Torres. Great save from Martinez. He had to take the shot from range because he was getting caught, the Turkish forward. And now Maatsen just looking for some support here from his teammates. Good ball up towards Rogers. Bellingham gives it back to Rogers on the left-hand side. Back to Bellingham again. Good link-up play between the two young Brits. McGinn into Bailey. Bailey can move it on one more, but Matty Cash had to just check his run for the offside trap, and Kepa gets it away. NSNL into Kluivert. Kluivert shoots! Oh, what a finish from Justin Kluivert from outside the box for Bournemouth. This game has suddenly come to life. What a finish for the Dutch international Justin Kluivert. What a hit that is. He got a little bit of space, picked his spot, and there's nothing Martinez could do. He picked it. A good turn from Unai again, who's been a danger man, into Cliver. Great hit from outside the box. 1-0 Bournemouth. Leon Bailey, lovely little reverse pass to Matty Cash. Matty Cash tries to put the cross in. Duran can't quite keep it alive. Rogers is there, but he's tackled by Tavernier. And, wow, Aston Villa have probably... I don't know if they've been the better team, actually, because Enes Unal has been a bloody thorn in my side up front. And Bournemouth have got a 1-0 lead from an absolute wonder strike from Clivert. But here is Duran. Great first touch to get it out of his feet. Duran! Oh, Kepa with a big save. Bailey up to Duran again. Another good first touch. He is getting more and more involved in the play now. Rogers brings it down well. Back to the edge of the area to Joe Bellingham. Oh, couldn't quite get the pass off in time. And it does fall nicely for Unal, but Konza reads that one. Up to Rogers. Rogers can turn. Back to Konza, who carried on a run forward. And now he's going to be out of position quite wildly as Clivert can come forward. Enes Unal pulls off Pau Torres, who just holds him up well. Sinestra gives it back to the Turkish striker, and it's 2-0 Bournemouth. Right on the stroke of half-time, Enes Unal makes it 2-0 to the visitors. Unal in behind the defence. It's an early striker. Martinez just hasn't really been on form today. But 2-0 to the away team. And that is half-time here. Aston Villa sinking without a trace, really. Okay, into the second half, and a tactical tweak from Unai Emery sees Aston Villa's shape change to a more of a 4-4-1-1. We're trying to get a bit more support up there with Duran from John McGinn and Jude Bellingham. Or Joe Bellingham, I should say. I wish we had Jude Bellingham. Onana's done very well there, and Duran could be in. And that's a lovely ball to start the second half. Duran's in. Oh, it's a really good save from Kepa. And that should be 2-1. So John McGinn has been fouled. It's a long way out, this one. Bailey, do I fancy having a go from here? I don't think I do. I think we're just going to try and put this one into John McGinn and work something from distance. Konza tries to flick it in back towards McGinn. It's not a badly worked set piece, but in the end it ends in Kepa's hands. McGinn turns. Brings the ball forward. Looks out to Onana. Onana looks in field. John Duran has picked up some good space again. Duran, that's a good save from Kepa. A much better effort from Duran with that one, and we are playing much more on the front foot in this shape, and with the slight tactical tweaks it's going to leave us open at the back, and Sinestra is going to try and make that count for Bournemouth. Unal's in again. He's hit the post. Jesus. So a host of substitutions for Aston Villa. Ollie Watkins on for Duran, Ramsey on for the injured Morgan Rogers, and Ross Barkley replaces Joe Bellingham. Leon Bailey into Watkins. Good turn. Tries to poke it through. Can John McGinn get there? No, he can't. He made a deeper run from, or a run from deeper midfield, I should say, but yeah, just not enough on it. Sinestra's beaten Matty Cash. He's into the area, uses his pace well, but his shot's poor. Barkley moves it on well to Onana. Tried to get that one out wide, but just couldn't work. And yeah, Aston Villa, I feel like we've played better in this second half. That's a good ball through to Barkley. He looks for Watkins. Watkins gets a shot off. Great save from Kepa again. Corner ball. John McGinn looking to swing this one in. In it goes towards Konza with a header. It's off the line from Sinestra. The Aston Villa players appeal, but the referee says play on. Leon Bailey feeds Matty Cash on the right. Matty Cash has done really well. Dinks it in. Watkins flicks it on, but Kepa can claim it. Definitely playing better, Aston Villa. Nana with a good interception in midfield. Barkley finds Watkins. Can't turn away from his man, though. And that Bournemouth defence is holding firm. They've got Kepa to thank for it to getting a clean sheet, to be honest, at the moment. A couple of good saves from the Spaniard in goal, signed from Chelsea. Leon Bailey takes over. Onana. Now it goes to Ramsey. Ramsey saw the run of Onana, but couldn't feed that ball through. And I am rushing a little bit as referee says play on for that foul from Ramsey there. Well, Laborde has done really well here. Laborde's still going, but he's got his pass wrong, luckily for us. Onana, good ball through to find Watkins, but just can't turn away from Zabani at the back. And yeah, the centre-backs have been so good today for Bournemouth. Pau Torres with a good challenge there. Barkley puts it up towards Watkins again, holds it up well and invites Ramsey forward. Ramsey just trying to create some space and to do something. He saw a man at the edge of the box, but couldn't get the ball through. Onana, poor pass. And we are going to be left 2-on-2 as we've gone much more attacking now. Pau Torres, again, couldn't quite get it through. Onana does get it through to Watkins. This time does hold off Zabani. Ramsey again comes forward. Cuts it back. Ross Barkley's there. Ross Barkley fancies a big shot. He's going to get another attempt here, is he? Barkley tries to feed it through, holds it up. Ramsey swings in across, wins a corner. 2 minutes to go. John McGinn to swing this one in towards a dangerous area, but it's headed away. It's going to come to the edge of the box. Ramsey gives it back out to McGinn. Does swing in a decent cross again. I think it's another corner, and it is. John McGinn over it again. The pressure from Villa is relentless. Onana into the ground, but Kepa stood firm. And it looks like Bournemouth are heading through to the Carabao Cup semi-finals at the expense of Aston Villa, who we've definitely not played badly. Onana's done well there. Tries to put that one through to Watkins, who did stay onside. Big save from Kepa. It's another corner. And yeah, we just haven't had enough. Cotton's with a header. Oh, even that goes past the post. And it's full time. Aston Villa 0, Bournemouth 2. So disappointing to go out of the Carabao Cup. As I said in the intro, a competition I honestly thought we had a chance of winning, but we got to the quarterfinals. Bournemouth will go on. Will console Matty Cash. He just doesn't feel as good on the ball as Elias Yalert, and even though Matty Cash is 80 rated and Elias Yalert is like 75, I think this year it seems like individual attributes matter more than the overall, so that's something to keep our mind on. So Buendia has agreed a move of £17 million to West Ham, so I'll be updating that on the spreadsheet as well, which does give us a little bit more money to play with. We've got 3 offers for players as well, which is pretty interesting. Now, 2.1 million for our Australian gouch 6'4" goalkeeper. I don't mind that actually, because we can try and bring in one of those young English goalkeepers. I think, a 2-year loan to St Etienne. Do you know what? I'm not against that. And what are Brentford offering? Loan to buy? I think we'll delegate. We'll just go for a loan, and we'll say a 1-year loan to another Premier League club. Gouchy, I think we are going to negotiate all of this, but I'll do it off camera. Okay, we managed to get 2.5 million out of Ghent, and I don't think that's too bad a deal, to be honest. We still do have Rob Olsen at the club as well at the moment, but yeah, that could open up the possibility to bringing in one of Charles or Lee, potentially. 62 rated Charles at 19 years old for £700,000 does look pretty decent. As well. Sheffield Wednesday actually have another goal, Beadle, but I've got a feeling he's on loan from Brighton. I need to check that. If he's not on loan from Brighton in real life anymore and he's actually a Sheffield Wednesday player, then we may look to bring in Beadle, because he looks very, very helpful in terms of an option. But next up is Man City. I think we have responded to this offer, or have they come back to us with... No, yeah, we have responded to that with the... changing it to just a loan option. So we have more offers as well. Jaden Philogene has been asked to go on... Newcastle have asked to loan him for 2 years. We will just try and negotiate that down to a 1-year loan, because I don't want him to go for 2 years, because I think he will be pretty good if we can get some options. But he's not getting too much game time this year, so I don't mind that option happening. But we do have Man City, who are now currently in 3rd. I liked how we played in the previous second half against Bournemouth, so I think we're going to be looking to utilise that change of shape potentially in the future as well. Now this is the problem. This is why we need another right winger, because the amount of games we've got coming up, we do need to have those options. But for now, that's how we're going to line up against Man City. It is arguably our strongest 11 other than Morgan Bailey missing. So how do we get on against Man City? It's a 2-2 draw. Not bad, I would say. The simulated results are keeping us at the top end of the table. Erling Haaland scored, Bailey scored, Watkins scored, and Doku scored as well. And Watkins missed, I think that's missing a penalty in the 83rd minute, which is a bit of a disaster there. But not a bad performance at home to Man City. Ooh, Courtney Howe's 1.75 million. His contract is expiring, and I think we're just going to accept that. He's got 6 months left on his contract. He hasn't played a single game of football for us this year, so Courtney Howe could be on his way to Leicester. So it's game day v Newcastle. We are going to play this game, and then we'll simulate the game against Brighton at the end of the month. But we are ticking down towards the January transfer window. It looks like it could be relatively busy for Aston Villa. But let's go to St James's Park, up into the north, and play Newcastle. Here we are then up at Newcastle for the game against Aston Villa at St James's Park in the Premier League. 2 teams that are doing pretty well this season in the league. Unai Emery with a slight tactical tweak for this game, and Diego Carlos is recalled to the starting lineup. We'll be back to go through both teams in just a second. So as the captains shake hands and the teams do all the formalities, it's Joel Linton who is captaining the team from Newcastle today. John McGinn keeps his captaincy for Aston Villa as per normal, but the big news for Aston Villa: no real out-and-out holding midfielder picked today. Onana dropped to the bench and replaced by Jobe Bellingham. But let's have a look at the home team first. Newcastle line up in a 4-3-3. You know that they've got pace in attack, but Dubravka is in net as Nick Pope is rested. Eder Militao, the new signing partner, Sven Botman at the back. Gordon, Isak and Almiron all up front. Joe Willock, Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Linton is a combative central midfield. Aston Villa line up in a 4-4-1-1 today. Unai Emery making a slight change to try and halt the bad results. Martinez in goal. Diego Carlos comes into partner Pau Torres at the back. Joe Bellingham plays in behind Ollie Watkins, recalled after being rested for the Carabao Cup game. And it's the home team that are getting us underway. Alexander Isak is going to be a handful up front today, and we are going to be on top, have to be on top form in our defensive game as well. Gordon is forward straight away here, and Diego Carlos makes an instant impact, being recalled back to the first team. His first start in a long time for Unai Emery. Elias Yalert comes down the right-hand side, back in to replace Matty Cash for this one, and he's actually done really well here and a really good run, Elias Yalert. And he's going to try and go towards the back post. Rodgers knocks it down. Watkins, what a save from Dubravka. In net today to replace Nick Pope, who is injured, and what a save from Dubravka that is. John McGinn with a sweeping pass out to Morgan Rodgers, who just picked up a slight knock in that Carabao Cup game, but was fit enough to be back in the starting lineup for today's game against Newcastle. But unfortunately the pass wasn't, it was a bit too floaty from John McGinn, I think is how I would describe that. But Aston Villa have started this game very positively, and well, Unai Emery will be delighted by that, trying to fizz a pass in there. Oh, Leon Bailey's done very well here, and Ollie Watkins is ahead of him, trying to just give him a run. Just holds it up. Shows too much of the ball to Sven Botman. Oh, a lovely play by Bailey on that side to release Elias Yalert again. And Elias Yalert still coming forward again towards the back post, towards Rodgers. Tries to get it headed down again, but he's offside. Just went a little bit too soon. And yeah, I feel like if we can utilise those crosses, we're doing all right. Trippier forward into Almiron. The first real time Newcastle have had some decent possession of the ball here. Isak is just tackled really well by Yuri Tielemans, and he's got Bellingham making a run in front, but Joe Willock just gets a toe on the pass to cut it out as Leon Bailey takes over, but not a good pass into the feet of Ollie Watkins again. And we are being the better team. Joe Linton down, I think, with an injury there for Newcastle, looking pretty worrisome for their captain, as Joe Bellingham just invites Maatsen forward for this one. Lack of movement in front of him from Aston Villa, as Joe Bellingham gives it out to Bailey. Great run from McGinn, who's put it inside. Looks for Watkins. Eder Militao. What a signing that is for Newcastle, by the way. Eder Militao. What a centre-back to bring in from Real Madrid, as Rodgers looks through. Good block on it again, but McGinn's read that one. John McGinn, ball through. Can Bailey get there? It's Eder Militao again. And he has been an absolute rock at the back for this Newcastle team. Joe Bellingham just taking a bit too long on the ball. Oh, it's a good ball through to Miguel Almiron, who has been held up somewhat by Pau Torres. Really good defending from the tall Spaniard. And Morgan Rodgers will look to break now. Rodgers, good ball up to Ollie Watkins, who finally holds off Eder Militao for the first time in this game. Elias Yalert comes forward. Up it goes to Bailey. Good turn from him as well. Just trying to see Newcastle get players back so quickly. Just trying to create something. It's just not working for us. Isak flicks it on as we had to pull Elias Yalert forward, and Anthony Gordon has the pace to get away from John McGinn. That's a given. That cross comes in towards Isak. Really well defended from Diego Carlos. He's having a storming game for his first game at the playing back in at centre back. Bailey comes forward. Watkins gives him a run forward. Not the best pass, and it's all turning a little bit scrappy here. We may just have to calm our pace down and look to build up a little bit more sensibly. Bellingham, well, that's not sensible, is it? We do got a bit lucky with the bounce. Rodgers just trying to tease Trippier in, and does win a throw-in with a few minutes to go in this game. Rodgers throws it into space for Watkins to chase, but that man again, Eder Militao, although this time he's had a bit of a shocker. Bailey, oh, it wouldn't shoot. It just wouldn't shoot. I thought I had it under control. He obviously didn't when I pressed the shoot button. Oh, Bailey in front of the goal, down the middle. Didn't manage to get a shot off. 0-0 at half-time. We've been by far the better team in this shape. So second half, no changes for either team, as Aston Villa are going to hope they can continue on in that second half as they ended the first, as Watkins looks to just potentially get in behind here. He's drawn Eder Militao out from the back. Joe Bellingham just goes back to Elias Yalert. Elias Yalert gets into a little bit of space. Really no one in the box for him at the moment. Tries to dink it up towards Watkins. Headed away. It's going to fall here to John McGinn. Gets around the loose challenge from Joe Linton. John McGinn, good save. Dubravka with a big save again. Sorry, good shot from John McGinn. He obviously didn't save the ball. That was Dubravka. Oh, great centre-forward play from Ollie Watkins, who's just held it up and invited Rodgers forward. Now, Eder Militao is sort of drifting towards Rodgers here. Good challenge from Trippier. It will be a corner, as Eddie Howe thinks it's a time for a bit more creativity with Joe Willock coming off to be replaced by Tonali. And that goes towards Diego Carlos, and it's Anthony Gordon to hook the ball away. Elias Yalert, really good run here from the right back. He's going to swing in across a little bit earlier, this time towards Watkins. It's headed away. And it's all, again, still similar to the first half. It's all Aston Villa. And Newcastle just really struggling to get the ball forward to that front three of Isak, Gordon and Almiron. Here is Isak. Joe Linton, and this is the one time they're going to break through the defence. And Alexander Isak could be in. He's taken a lot of touches, and Martinez with a big save. Tonali comes forward with the ball, jinking and running. Managed to put in Anthony Gordon. Great challenge from Diego Carlos. He has been absolutely superb in this game. Definitely giving me something to think about for our options at centre-back going forward, as Bailey lays that one off to John McGinn. John McGinn sees the run of Leon Bailey. He's offside. It was so close. So Newcastle with another substitution. Almiron coming off, and that is Dewsbury Hall. No, Harvey Barnes coming on. Sorry, not Dewsbury Hall. Harvey Barnes coming on. So Eddie Howe making another change. This one in the front three. And Aston Villa making a couple of changes. Leon Bailey off. Tielemans off. Ramsey off. Duran, Onana, and Jacob Ramsey. Did I say that coming on? I can't remember who I've said's on. But we've made three changes. It's Ramsey, Duran, and Onana coming on. So Onana back in. Dropped for this game, but he is coming on to replace Yuri Tielemans. That's an easy save for Emi Martinez. John McGinn looks to lift it over the top, and Watkins, oh, could be in. Sven Botman managed somehow to just get a foot on that one. Isak, oh, that's a really good turn and pass, and he's released Anthony Gordon, and Aston Villa are struggling here at the back. Anthony Gordon is in, tries to shield the ball, turns on the rebound. Martinez, what a double save. Pau Torres has had a good game at the back, but he's absolutely shattered, so he's going to be replaced by Ezri Konsa coming on for the last 20 minutes of the second half. But it's been a game with the goalkeepers, hasn't it? Dubravka kept Newcastle in it really in the first half, and it's been Martinez keeping Aston Villa in it in the second half, as Joe Bellingham looks to come away, looks to switch it to the other flank. John Duran has been asked to play on the right-hand side in this game. Not his favoured position, but something that Unai Emery obviously thinks he can do. Elias Yalert holds it up. Oh, he's just shown too much of it to Matty Target at left back, as Anthony Gordon comes forward. Konsa, fresh legs, should be able to keep up a little bit better with Anthony Gordon, who's going all the way to the byline, and that is very good defending from Konsa. Duran looks in field towards Bellingham. Bellingham, great little 1-2 to release John Duran. John Duran bearing down on goal. His angles are tough. He shoots. It's a good save from Dubravka again. Bellingham keeps it alive and picks out Onana. Goes for it from distance. Dubravka holds on. And you sort of feel like how this game has played with the two goalkeepers being in form. It's got 0-0 written all over it, to be honest. Oh, that's a good bit of skill there from Harvey Barnes. And Harvey Barnes coming towards the area. Martinez had to get that right because Anthony Gordon was in so much space as Aston Villa looked to launch a little bit of a counter-attack. John Duran, great crossfield pass that to pick out Ramsey, who's not had too much game involvement in this. Bellingham does well, controls it really well. Duran comes forward. He's got Elias Yalert outside of him. Elias Yalert cuts it in field. John McGinn! John McGinn's hit the post! Oh my word, Unai Emery can't believe it. It was a great move from Villa. Alexander Isak turns, runs at goal, lays it off to Anthony Gordon. It's definitely been these two who have been the danger men. Anthony Gordon, Diego Carlos is there again, an absolute man mountain Diego Carlos in this game. I'm not going to lie, I've actually quite enjoyed Duran at right wing as well. So he holds it up well here. Bellingham fires it into the feet of Watkins. That's a good ball out wide to Ramsey. Ramsey, can Aston Villa just find something else in this game? One last chance perhaps. As it goes out to Bellingham. Spreads it out to the right wing to Elias Yalert. Elias Yalert beats his man. Can he swing in across? Watkins can't win the header. Comes out to Duran. Joe Bellingham looking to turn. Can't quite create the space. 2 minutes of time added on to try and find a winner. Elias Yalert gets round Livramento. Does he? Yes, he does. Keeps the ball. Finds Duran. Bellingham. It's patient, but we couldn't break through. It is 0-0. As we said, it had a 0-0 written all over it. But John McGinn hit the post. Oh, we just can't score goals at the moment. And they'll come. It will come. 0-0 here at Newcastle. Probably not a bad result, to be honest. Yeah, so I think it's never a bad result to go to Newcastle and get a 0-0 draw. Joe Bellingham had a great game in central midfield. Did really well being asked to play in the attacking midfield role. Watkins, we did struggle to get him into goal-scoring positions today, but he's getting there. That huge save from Dubravka in the first half. If that had gone in, it's a different game. And Elias Yalert, I'm going to say, had a great game. I'm really enjoying Elias Yalert at right back. Really enjoying it. So we're going to end out December with a home tie against Brighton. We do have offers for Philijan House and Nedljkovic, which we've already gone through all of them. So let's get to the Brighton game. We'll simulate that one, and then the next episode is the January transfer window as we say farewell to whoever the hell that is. Is that Gauchi, our goalkeeper? It's not. It's Kosta Nedljkovic, who's gone on loan for 2 years to St Etienne in Ligue 1. So some tired legs for the Brighton game, as you would expect with the amount of football that's just being played at the moment. And again, if ever we needed a backup right winger, this is showing it. Who did I just put? I just put Matty Cash up front. Why did I do that? I want Watkins up front. Very, very impressed with Diego Carlos at centre-back as well. He's too tired to play this game, but he'll definitely be in there. Matty Cash at right back. We'll have to play Ramsey at right wing. Everyone else, I think, is going to have to struggle through. I don't like playing people that we've already agreed to sell, hence why Digne, Courtney Howes and Buendia aren't playing. But Philijan is only going out on loan, so actually he can get a start. So let's put him on the right, and we'll make sure that Ramsey is on the bench for Bailey. We can put Courtney Howes on the bench, I guess, just because of tired legs. And do we go with that? Maatson... Let's put Konza at left back, which I know is a little bit strange, but we'll give Tyrone Mings a rare start in this one. Let's get into that then. That's how we're going to be lining up to sim against Brighton at home. It's a 3-2 win. Maatson with a goal. Watkins got another. And in the first half, it was Rodgers. Mitoma scored for Brighton, as did Minter. So scored against his old club. No, he didn't. He used to play for Newcastle, not Aston Villa. But again, simulation sort of bailing us out. But I do think that's giving it a good balance, to be honest. And I am loving this save as the moment, as that is another player leaving Aston Villa, to be honest, as Morgan Rodgers has a role update. So, yeah, we'll get him as a winger plus, which is good. A little bit irritating because we are now thinking about changing a system. So we'll get him training as a left mid as well. I don't mind it. I don't mind us changing systems and having options and things like that. So I do think it keeps people fresh and allows you to have a little bit more involvement about what we want to do in this save as well. So like Ross Barkley could be a playmaker. He's already box to box, so he's just so slow, isn't he? Pace 53 is absolutely dreadful. But yeah, to be honest, it is only our wingers that will be flitting between left wing and right mids, which is, I don't think necessarily a bad thing. We'll get them all trained up to be at least plus winger and then put them back on right midfield, similar to what we're going to be doing with Leon Bailey, to be honest. But anyway, the next episode will be the start of the January transfer window. So let's crack on into January the 1st and we'll get news of how this all looks. Luca Digne leaves to join Fiorentina. Lamar Bogard has gone out on loan for 6 months to join Stade Brestois and in Ligue 1. So a couple of our younger players going out to Ligue 1, which is interesting. It looks like we've had an updated offer for Philijan as a short-term loan. We'll accept that for 6 months. Courtney Howes has had another offer from Feyenoord, so we'll get that accepted as well. And Gouch has had another offer from another club in Belgium, so we'll delegate that and just say they have to start. Don't sell for less than... I've just got that wrong. They're probably going to now bid less, and that's a little bit irritating. So we're going to retract that because I got it wrong, and he can just move to Ghent. That's what's going to happen there. But we are on January the 1st, and our first game up will be Leicester. So let's have a quick look at what we've got coming up in January. Obviously, it's going to be slower in January because of the transfer window. But we've got Leicester, then we've got Crawley in the Cup, which we will simulate in the first round of the FA Cup, or the early rounds of the FA Cup. We've got Everton and Arsenal as well. Then we've got Monaco, West Ham and Celtic. So I think in the next episode, we'll play Leicester, sim Crawley, sim Everton, and play Arsenal. And then at the end of January, we'll come back and play Monaco and Celtic and sim West Ham, I think is what we'll do. And then see out the rest of January, including deadline day. So I think that's the plan. And then as we get back into February and stuff, we'll go back to doing a month per episode. It's just getting very, very busy at the moment. So the squad at the moment is looking pretty thin on the ground, isn't it? Gochi could be out, so we'll look to bring in a young English goalkeeper, I think. We have Matson as our only left-back option, so we will look to bring in another left-back. Elias Yiller and Matty Cash are good at right back at the moment. Centre backs I'm happy with. Central midfield I'm actually quite happy with as well. We'll just look to see what we can do. I will be updating the spreadsheet and tracking what we can and can't buy in terms of registration rules, but I'll see you in the next one. Please do leave a like if you're enjoying it, subscribe below and give me a comment about what you think we should do with this squad. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.